Welcome and good morning to this Friday edition of Coffee with Cancer. I'm your host, Dennis, coming to you live from my van in Florida. Um, let's see, just going through my messages. Somebody was calling me this morning, but I never heard the phone ring, and I didn't know that they had called me until I looked for my daily affirmations, and I saw I'd missed 6 phone calls between 8:17 and 8:46. Imagine that. Good morning, Mark Lewis. Welcome to the show. Good morning, Cynthia, who is here first, by the way. Plugs for Days is not in. He might be hanging out in the background somewhere. Good morning, Squirrel. Welcome to the program. It is Friday. It is the end of the week, and I am going to do some work on my van this weekend. Today I've got 3 doctor's appointments starting at 10:30, and going till like 6 o'clock tonight. It's going to be a long day of needles and pokes and happy days. Yeah, man. It's a little chilly up here this morning. It's 55 degrees. Holy moly, man, I came to Florida so that I could be in the warm weather. And here I am wearing thermals again. It's definitely warmer, though, than it would have been in New York. Cynthia says it's 45 there. In my hometown, it is 27 degrees this morning, and their future outlook is not, it's grim. Temperatures dropping throughout the day. Let's see, it's dropping into the single digits in the evening. So, I would say that I guess it's better to be here in Florida than it is to be in New York. They have a cold trend coming, and they have a winter storm coming. So it's 27 now. It's going to be, by 1 o'clock, it'll be 21. By 5 o'clock, it'll be 14. By 11 p.m., it will be 5 degrees. And at 7 a.m. tomorrow, it will be just a plain crisp 0. Yeah, burr cold. Good morning, Ray. Good morning, Tommy from River Styx, and good morning, Swamp Rat. Ray, I have no Girl Scout cookies for you today. You'll have to get them from somebody else. I think the only girl we have in here this morning is Cynthia, and she can't really be considered. No, we won't go there. This is a positive show. I'll throw the link up if anybody wants to join in. Mark Davis, good morning, buddy. Welcome to the show. Welcome and good morning. You're up there in New York State. You know what it's like. Good morning, Biscondo Con. I'm going to get this right one of these days. Biscondo, good morning and welcome. Swamp Rat says he's not going north anytime soon. Mark Davis. Wow. How's the weather up there for you, Mr. Mark? You're up there on that. You're up on the tundra in the real cold. Um, yes, sir. Um, I have the affirmation for this morning. Let me get that up there. Um, affirmation for today. It's not too bad. You can't listen to Mark when he says it's not too bad because um, Mark he's one of those guys that still, at 20 degrees, uh, um, at 20 degrees out, he's wearing a t-shirt and shorts and a beanie cap to cover his ears. He's not really. You can't go by that when he says it's not bad yet, because to anybody else it would be freezing cold. Okay, the affirmation for this morning is, I will move through this day with a spirit of gratitude. Oh, let me take Mark's comment down. The spirit of gratitude. Yeah, so Mark says he likes the cold and snow. He actually likes the cold and snow, I think, more than he likes the summer, or the warm weather, or you know, and so, how's Becky getting along? I see she's been out there with the alpacas. Um, Cynthia says they said we might actually get some snow on Monday. Well, good for you, Cynthia. Oh, that brings a smile to my face, because there won't be any snow here. That's for darn sure. um, Mark wants to know if anybody's been out detecting lately. Um, I I have not been out much this week, although last week I went out. I went out last week. I got the SOQ, um, and I got a piece of coin silver jewelry. Um, Becky's doing great. She's getting her port out on Tuesday. Wow, that is freaking awesome. Man, I think that's great. Mark, and again, Mark Mark went metal detecting yesterday. Mark got a metal detector. He got the Garrett Ace 400. And he's been out there chopping through the frozen ground, looking for treasures and relics in the frozen tundra. Cynthia, I can't highlight that comment. Oh wait, maybe I can. It looks like, no, I can't highlight that comment. I'm not even sure where that came from. Jim Steele, good morning. Swamp Rat says, yes, Mark, I'm always out detecting. Um, and he says that it's snowing. It's snowing there. You should send it all to Dennis. I like that. It was 40 yesterday in New York State. Cynthia, you just stay out of that conversation. Ray is going metal detecting this weekend. Yep. Swamp Rat has a new premiere coming out tonight, and Mark was metal detecting in his yard. I tell you what. Good morning, River Sticks. Good morning, Randy. Welcome to the show. I'm happy you were able to make it this morning. Randy is on the road, I believe. So there's Randy. Welcome, Randy. I have a nice crowd this morning, considering. I'll throw the link back in there. Tommy was going to get his batteries today, I think. Get his batteries for his van, so that he can start utilizing some of that power that's up on his rooftop. Mark, what did you find out in the yard? Mark Davis. Mark Lewis, good morning. Welcome to the show. Mark Davis said he was metal detecting out in the yard. Now, I found some really cool stuff in Mark's front yard a couple of years ago. I found a 1922 Studebaker radiator badge plate that still had most of the enameling in it. So Mark's yard has some really cool stuff in it. I sent Tommy some 9 volts. Oh, he sent Tommy some 9 volts. That might help him. Oh, no way. Okay, so Mark says he got 2 good targets, but he couldn't dig 2 frozen. Mark, that's going to happen to you. But what you can do is pinpoint on your GPS where you're finding those targets, and in the spring go back out there and dig them babies up. No frozen ground here, says Swampy. Well, Swampy, you're right. There's nothing frozen here except me. Good job, Mark. I knew you would. I'm the only frozen thing here, apparently, and I've got my little ceramic heater turned on this morning, trying to take the chill out. Well, Cynthia, sounds to me like your ground might get frozen. I'm just saying there, honey. Jim Steele says it's too frozen here to even dig graves. Well, I remember those days back in my younger years, in my youth, when I was in New York State. Having to wait till the spring in order to go to a funeral. That was horrible, Then you got to relive that horrible experience twice. As many of you may know, I grew up in I grew up in upstate New York. I went to high school with Mark Davis about 100 years ago. Hey, good morning, the Bud Files. Bud Files, you just yesterday, I think, subbed the channel, so welcome and good morning. But this program is an inspirational um, metal detecting, cancer surviving, um, friendly morning chat, and we try to do this. I was going to try to do this every day of the week, but honestly, um, I'm so tired, and most days I can't. 3 days a week, I'm still able to get out of bed. This morning, I missed 6 phone calls to wake me up. So let's see. A bud sounds real good. Oh, that's pretty funny, Jim. You're killing me here. Um, so last night I was on a conversation with Tommy, and I was talking about when I was a kid, when I was learning to drive, and let me just tell you, my experience learning to drive was with somebody that Mark would know, and that was Hans Petcher of the Hans Petcher Farms up on Bartnick Road. I was 15 or 16, and I went to work in this dairy farm, um, and I told the guy that ran it, Hans, that I didn't really know how to drive, and he said, "That's okay. You're going to learn here." And he said, "Come on, let's get in the truck. We're going to go down the road." And that ended with me in the ditch because, you can't take a corner at 70 and expect to stay on the road. Now, I worked another job as well, and had other things going on because I was a kid, And I rode my bicycle over to the farm. Well, that truck had an issue with the transmission. When you were trying to put the transmission into reverse, you had to jiggle the handle and thump on the gas to get the RPMs revved up in order to get that thing to go into reverse. Now, you're supposed to throttle up and keep your brake on. And I was in a hurry, and so I throttled up and jammed on it, and finally it got it into gear. The truck backed up, and I put a hole in the side of the milk house. And it wasn't a little hole; it was a big hole. And my response to that as a 15 or 16-year-old kid was to try to hide it, because I didn't want to be in trouble for putting a hole in the milk house. And so I ran quick, got a tractor with a wagon with hay on it, and pulled that wagon in front of the big hole. Unhooked the tractor and put the truck up by the house where I never parked it, and headed off. And the next day I came in for work, the next morning, and Hans met me at the house, and he said, "Good morning." He said, "Dennis, is there anything you want to tell me before we start the day?" And I looked at him, and I hemmed and hawed, and I said, "Gee, I can't think of a thing. But thanks for asking." And we got in the truck and went up to the field, and then came back for lunch. And before we went in the house to have lunch, he said, "Dennis, is there anything you want to tell me before we have lunch?" And I said, "Gee, I can't think of a thing. Well, I might be late tomorrow. I got some things to do." We go in, we eat lunch, come back, and we spend the afternoon picking up hay and doing that stuff. And we come back, and now we're standing in front of the milk house, the pump house, milk house, and here's the wagon is still there. And he says, what's that wagon doing there? And I said, I don't remember what I said exactly, but he said, why don't you take this wagon over there and unload it and then come back and we'll see what to do next. And so I moved the wagon. The big gaping hole is there. And I come back and I'm standing in front of the big opening in the side that's not a doorway but is now. And he says, hey, is there anything you want to tell me? And I said, well, as a matter of fact, there is. I may have accidentally bumped into the milk house yesterday when I left. But it's not my fault because there's a problem with the reverse gear. Yeah. And so he says, well, come on, let's talk about what we're going to do about this. And we stepped through the hole into the milk house. So it wasn't like a little hole. It was like a whole big hole. Oh, yeah. I've had an issue backing up my whole life. I back up with this van. And when I first got this van, I have a cargo rack on the back, and I can't see it in either of my mirrors. And I've backed over mailboxes, and I've hit telephone poles, and I've hit light posts, and I've hit a few cars. But it's not my fault because I couldn't see. I forgot. Yeah. So when I start thinking about the bus that I've got up north, and this thing is 40 feet long, I'm afraid that I'm going to back into something or back over someone. I think the bus might not be the best option for me. I don't know. Maybe I will adapt. Good morning, Digger Dan, King of Clad. I just saw you guys pop in. So, the moral to that story is that if I'm around you and I've got this van in reverse, get as far away from me as you can. That's the moral to the story. Who else we got in here? Dan, Randy. Randy, I've thought about putting a backup camera on this van so I can see what's behind me, but then that takes away all the excitement of backing up, and I haven't come to the decision to put a backup camera on this van yet because I'm not sure I'm keeping this van. I drove my friend's car over the summer, and that car had a backup camera on it, and I loved it. For me, once I figured out what the different colors meant, yellow means yield. It means you're getting close. Red means you're going to hit something, and then of course you hit the hedgerow, and you know that you've gone back far enough. So when it turns yellow, you start slowing down. When it turns red, you hit the brakes before you make contact. Cynthia says, when I come to visit her, I should park in the middle of the garden. There you go. Yeah. So, oh, yeah. Thanks, Forever Sticks, for suggesting that I need a short bus. That's very nice of you. But here's I digress. Here's what's going to happen. Tomorrow is Saturday, and and I'm going to take everything out of my van, and I'm putting in a new cabinet, countertop, and set of drawers for storage. Because the biggest issue I've had with this van is figuring out where to put all my crap. And I know several of you have seen my van. It's a great idea. I've got this here, which is a filing cabinet for my clothes, but my clothes don't all fit. And I've got a bear safe. I've got a bear safe cooler, and and while it's a great countertop, the problem is it's completely covered now. Um, so and it's 2 feet it's 2 feet long, the bear safe cooler. So the counter I'm putting in is 17 inches wide, 32 inches high, and 67 inches long. And it will go from the bed all the way to the driver's seat. And then I can start figuring out where to put stuff so that it's just not out everywhere. To make my van a little more accessible for me amidst traveling. I think Tommy's van has more room in it by like 18. Tommy, is your van an extended, or is it a normal sized? I think Tommy's van's a little longer than mine. It's 2 foot longer, so his square footage is more than mine, but his van is full of stuff as well. So he's got his little entranceway that you come in. He's got his front seat passenger side on a swivel, so it'll turn around. And then his passenger wall over here has cabinets or shelves at the top, and then his deep freezer, his washer, dryer, all of that stuff along the bottom. That then goes back to his bed, which goes all the way to the back doors. In my van, wow, Ray, I can't even go there. In my van, my bed is 18 inches from the back doors, and I use that back door open space for my refrigerator, for my bucket, and incidentals, and overflow storage. I've got several buckets that I keep copper, brass, and lead in, and those are in the back of the van. And so our setup is a little different. Tommy went, his van is very fancy in comparison to mine. He's got the wood ceiling and the wood walls and the tiled floors, and I don't have that stuff. I've got the white ceiling, which reflects the light, which is great, and it's easy to clean. And my walls are white, and so hey there, Felipe, welcome back. That's right. Better late than never. And then the other thing Tommy's van does not have is the big TV hanging on the wall. Um, for me, having the TV was just it's an essential. I watched TV on my cell phone for years. It's not fun. I don't enjoy it. I struggle to see the screen because it's so small on my phone. Um, and so I added a 36-inch high def smart TV, and Dish TV for Dish Go, so I can watch some of my favorite Gold Rush programs. And to me, the TV was just very important to have. And so um, so I have a TV. Um, and it allows me to pick and choose what I want to watch. I don't watch the news still. I didn't like to watch the news when I was younger, and I don't like to watch the news now because there's too much. You don't know what the heck to believe when you watch the news, because the person reporting the news is not really reporting the news. They're reporting their personal feelings towards whatever the circumstance is. Like the hurricanes that come to Florida. And I get that, Tommy, but to use your projection screen that's 6 foot, you're setting it up outside. I don't want to sit outside and watch TV. I had a projection screen for a while where I could connect my phone to it and project to the side of the van, which was great for parties and gatherings. But I wanted something comfortable inside of my vehicle. And so we have a difference of opinion. We have a different setup. But this weekend I'm going to add a countertop and a set of drawers, 6 drawers that will be added to help me try to organize my van a little bit better. So Tommy's van is a lot nicer than mine is, and I've got no problem with that. This is what I have. I'm happy with it. Swampy says he has a TV in his teardrop. Well, I get that. I absolutely get that. For me, this was more important than anything else. It's more important than having shelves in here is to have a nice TV, something I can see in my old age. Mark, thank you for coming by. Mark is headed out to. I missed it. Did I get it that time? Mark is headed out to cut firewood for the winter season, and it's going to get real cold up there where Mark is. And because it's going to get real cold, they need firewood. So, Mark, have a great day. Be safe out there and enjoy yourself. I know you will. He's got the coolest log splitter cutter thing I've ever seen. It's like all pneumatic and automatic, and he rolls the log on and he pulls a lever and it pulls it up and it sets it down into a chamber that then the plunger pushes on it and splits the wood apart. And it's got guides to push that wood off to the sides. It's cool as heck. If I was a wood splitting guy, I would love to play with a toy like that. It was just sweet. But I'm not really a wood splitting guy. So thank you for coming in, Mark. Thank you for stopping by. I'm glad you're doing well. I'm sad that it's so cold up there in New York State, although I know you really enjoy it. I'm going to throw up the affirmation again for the day. We're about 5 minutes over on our time, and I have a doctor's appointment just not well, in just a little bit that I have to get ready to go to. Um, so, uh, the affirmation for today is I will move through this day with a spirit of gratitude. I want to thank everybody for coming in this morning. Um, I enjoy seeing all of your happy, smiling faces, so to speak. I enjoy seeing all of you here. I thank you all for coming in. Um, I'll be back on Monday at 9 a.m. We'll do this all over again, and hopefully I'll have my new countertop in and I can show you guys what I've done. So thank you for coming by, and have a great day, everybody.